Every few years, YouTube goes through a journey where people start to question whether or not it's here to stay. Everyone's talking about TikTok, everyone's talking about Instagram. Is YouTube still going to hang on? Insert dramatic music. But this still remains the #1 platform for long-form video. And if you're smart, then when everyone's looking elsewhere, you're paying attention to what you can do to build a brand here. But what does it mean to take YouTube seriously and make a really, really good YouTube video, even if it's only as good as the resources you have right now? In this video, I want to share 13 questions. Yes, it's a lot, but I promise you it is going to be very useful to anyone taking YouTube seriously. These are questions that I ask myself before I make any video to make sure that it is a great idea and that I present it in the best way possible to help my community. Good morning, good life. Welcome back to The Inspiring Influencer here on Amy TV, where we help ambitious professionals like you to share your knowledge with the world and spark motivation with a captivated community. Okay, so the first one's gonna sound a little funny, but I'll explain. Number one, what does Charlotte want to know about this subject? If you're wondering who Charlotte is the person that I talk to every time I look at the lens of a camera here on YouTube. I know who she is, I know what she likes, I learn more about her as I go every time I make a video, and I continue to serve her. I make videos for me, but I really make videos for my avatar. Having a lot of clarity around who you're talking to is going to make any video so much better because you will know how to do it in the way that that person needs to receive it from you. So we want to know whoever your avatar is, give them a name or don't. I like to name mine so it makes it more real in my mind. What does Charlotte want to know about this subject? How can I unpack that idea a little bit more so it's not just some potential fleeting idea, it's a little bit more fleshed out so that it will be delivered in a way that somebody's actually interested in it. By the way, if you want to know more about building out the person that you talk to, your Charlotte, that's in my book as well. Question number 2. Why do you need to talk about this right now? Even when you're building a channel that is meant to be fairly evergreen, I would consider my channel to be one that's very evergreen. You could tune into any video at any time for the most part. There are gonna be dated things just because technology changes, people evolve. But for the most part, you can tune into something and it'll still have an effect on you in a year from now than it did the day I released it. That being said, it is very important to recognize what are people thinking about in this moment, because the immediate liftoff of that video once you post it is really helpful for its trajectory over the long term. The third question is, does this video deliver on the promise of your channel? When we create a YouTube channel, you've got to think about it like a TV channel. Whatever type of content that you want to post on that channel should be something that you've articulated to your audience they can come to expect from you. So you might have different buckets of things that you talk about. I have buckets of things that I talk about on this channel, but I'm not gonna get outside of those buckets, or at least too far outside of those buckets. Because then if you upload something that your audience did not come to expect when they subscribed, you're basically giving them a chance to say, I'm not interested. And anytime you upload a video that your subscribers may consider not watching, then you're not really helping the channel to flourish to the best of your ability. Will everyone like every single video that you post? Of course not. But if you really know who you're talking to, most of them that you post should apply to that community who decided to subscribe. So if you thought about what the promise of your channel is, and does this video deliver on that? The fourth question is, what is the basic framework or strategy of this video? If you're like me, you might be a little bit of a talker and you need to be reeled in a little bit so that whatever you create for someone to watch is digestible, memorable. And so having a framework or having an outline of what you intend to talk about is extremely helpful. And if you can't come up with a few basic bullet points that are meant to be the pillar of how you'll deliver the information, then it might be a little bit too broad, a little bit too messy, and hard for somebody to really absorb. Okay, before I get to my next questions, I want to share the sponsor of this episode. I think you're going to find it very useful because it is where I am able to flesh out all of my ideas for YouTube videos. It's where I keep all of those ideas, and it's where I go to answer these questions before I sit down to film. So you'd have to be hiding underneath a rock to not know that one of the best, most visually pleasing tools out there for staying organized is Notion. We use Notion on my team because not only do we love it for being so approachable for the individual to try for free, there's also the ability to activate team spaces. And because we do a lot of creative planning in my business, you need a place that feels appropriate for planning creative things. And Notion really helps us do that. So I wanna show you my Notion. You can clearly see here that I have both a private space and a team space. And this is the homepage check-in for my whole team to see what we're focused on. We have everything here from content priorities to social strategy and some really important team references when it comes to what it means to work for Get Lou House. Let's start there. Just by being reminded of what our mission and values are, you can click here and see what our core values are. These are things that I really score people's performance on. So making sure they're top of mind is really important for everyone that works here. Probably one of the most used areas is the content priorities. You can see here the way we map out the Amy TV content calendar. We've got a bunch of cards here in columns, and they help us to see what the status is of different videos and how things are going in the process. One of the biggest things is calling attention to something to another team member if I need help or support on one of our videos that we're working on. So if I'm on a page in Notion working on a YouTube video idea, then I can tag a team member that's in my team space and let them know something I might need support on that they can help me with, and they can jump right in and do that. And look at this soundbite collection. Okay, can we just talk about how beautiful this is designed? I mean, like, you can't get this on other platforms. If I want to think about a really great quote that I heard from Ryan Holiday when I did an interview with him, we've got that all broken out on this page in Notion and time coded so that I can call attention to it when I reference it in other forms of content. This is so much easier to build out when you have a team supporting you in creating it. And so being able to collaborate in real time where we reference these things is what makes Notion amazing. Whether you have a team right now or not, I highly suggest you try Notion. It's free for personal use. Start making some things you're excited about so that when you do have people to collaborate with, you've got something started already. Try Notion for free by clicking the link in the description down below. And if you identify as a startup, you can apply to get $1,000 off your Team Notions plan. Check it out. The fifth question is, who could help you articulate the importance of this subject in your video, whether it be a featured guest or a mentioned expert? This could be literally anything, but think about the people who have taught you thus far. Maybe you read a book, maybe you heard a podcast interview, maybe you've watched another YouTube video. How can you refer to someone else that has mentioned ideas in the area of what you intend to unpack in this video so that you can offer a little bit of spotlight to someone else, pass the mic, if you will, or just make it more interesting that it's not all of your ideas that are in this video and that you're willing to share the love with others who have taught you as well. The sixth question is, how can you show to tell the story of this video? Keeping video attention can be pretty tough. And so even if you can sit and say something and talk for a really long time, sometimes we have to do a little bit more to keep the attention on the video so that people don't get bored and leave, especially with long form video. So there's a number of ways you can do this. Your frameworks and your bullet points and numbering things is really helpful. But what else can you do? Maybe showing something that you're talking about with B-roll footage, or using graphics to write on screen what you're saying to make it easier for people to digest. The better you can show to tell, the better it's going to be absorbed, the more you're going to be able to retain attention. The seventh question is, how will you attract the attention of your audience with your title and thumbnail? It is so important that this is not an afterthought. If the video is a great idea, if you think someone's really going to enjoy it, you've got to be clear as day, articulate as to what somebody is signing up for when they decide to click on your video. And you're going to be best supported by that when you have a great title and a thumbnail that backs up the title and, again, shows to tell the story. So what do you need to write to make it very clear of what people are signing up for when they decide to watch? And what do you need to show to prove that you do deliver on that subject that is written in the title? That's in your thumbnail. These two things need to be on the front burner, okay? Plan the title and the thumbnail in advance of sitting down and making the video, even if the thumbnail is going to get further fleshed out by the actual footage itself. having a good idea of what it could look like based on some inspiration you've seen or just an idea that you have is a great way to make sure that you stay focused on the subject and have a great way to attract people when the video is ready to go. Number 8's pretty simple. When will the video need to be published? Maybe there's something about what you talked about that is relevant to a timely matter. So for instance, a lot of people are talking about the holidays, things that refer to the holidays or starting a new year. Then you're gonna need to post that video pretty much on time. Otherwise, it's gonna be irrelevant if you wait too long. The 9th question is, where will you shoot the video? Based on what you've written here and what you're starting to unpack about how to do something great with this video idea, you're probably getting a good idea of where it should be shot to do it a justice. So can you make sure that you can go to that place? Can you make sure you can set up your gear to shoot? Can you make sure you have all of the locations figured out that you need to go and get it scheduled on your calendar? Because as we all know, a to-do list is nothing. Your shot list is nothing if there is no time to allocate toward it. The 10th question is very personal to me. I don't know why I put it that way, but maybe this will resonate with some other creators. The 10th question is, will you remember this video? I find it fascinating that we live in this world where we're constantly having to publish as much as possible, as fast as possible, and it's like new idea, new story, new idea, new framework, new strategy, new experience, and it's just like all the time. You're on this hamster wheel. And I'm always really bummed out when somebody says, I saw this video of yours and it was so good. And they tell me the title and I'm like, I don't remember making that. like it sounds like me, but I don't remember making that. So part of that is just life. That's just, you know, the grind and making sure that you're always creating a lot of value and reworking ideas and updating ideas. But you really do want to feel like your work is memorable, and not just for the people watching it, but for you as the creator. And that leads me to question number 11, which is, will you enjoy making it? Again, we don't just want this content creation thing to be a grind. For some people, it is just marketing and they really don't care. For others, they take their video craft really seriously, and because this is a lifestyle decision of your line of work, in a lot of cases for somebody who's a full-time YouTuber or at least a full-time content creator, you want it to be an enjoyable experience, okay? Like, we're doing this because we want to have fun. So when you think about the video idea, what gets you jazzed about it? Like, why are you going to have fun? Because ultimately, if your personality is in it, but not the fullest version of what it could be, I really don't believe that it's going to fall well with your audience. Because what I've noticed, anytime I make something just to make it, and I didn't care about enjoying it, I just had to get it done, and it was like quick and dirty and whatever, I don't remember it, and I definitely don't enjoy it. Question number 12 is inspired by the landscape of video right now. We see the TikToks of the world, the Instagram Reels, and of course, YouTube Shorts. So number 12 is, if you looked at your video once it was done and decided you wanted to cut it down, shrink it to a 60-second version, could you do that? Or could you at least take a few different snippets of your video and turn them into 60-second versions? I say this because while long form is great and there's so much opportunity in posting on YouTube, could you also share just as much value in a shorter period of time so you can cross promote and spread the love a little bit in some of these other venues? Certainly, even if you didn't leave YouTube at all and you just had your full form video and a 60-second compacted version or highlight of it to post to YouTube Shorts, you'd really be leveraging a lot of the important features of this platform to get in front of new eyeballs. And so, can you take your video and shorten it? And the 13th and final question is one that I learned from my dear, dear friend and amazing animator, YouTuber, storyteller, Swoozy. I asked him on a podcast once, what's the best advice that you've ever been given or you've ever come up with throughout your YouTube career? And he said, anytime you make something, you've got to ask yourself, would you share it? So of course, as the creator, we're gonna share our video, right? Like, I'm gonna tweet it, I'm gonna post it on Instagram, go watch it, please subscribe to my channel, blah, blah, blah. But if you think about when you see a new TikTok that cracks you up, or a YouTube short that just caught you off guard. It was so amazing. Or a video that you saw somewhere and you immediately hit that little paper airplane button and ship it off to someone you know because they absolutely have to watch it and have this same experience that you did. Do you feel like that would happen with this video that you're making? It may not be because it's the most entertaining thing in the world. It may be because it's just super valuable. Can you think of 2 or 3 people that you genuinely would want to tell them the same information that you said in this video you made, and so therefore you would share it with them? This is how you start to understand the psychology of what makes video great. I gotta share this with Joe. I have to share this on my Instagram story. My audience will love it. I have to share this with so-and-so. I'm gonna play this for my grandma the next time I see her. Those are the moments that make a video presence. It's that shareability. It's not just likes, it's not just comments. It's someone wanting somebody else to be in the audience with them. Those are the 13 questions to ask yourself so that you make better YouTube videos. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. Cheers.